everybody, and welcome back to the 12 Days of ComiXmas, the Mighty and Merry series, where we share Christmas comics and comic-related things, raising money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Today, we might be reaching for the lowest hanging branch on the Christmas tree, and that's because when looking for interesting things to share in this series, I saw this cover and thought, what in the Rob Leifeld hell is this? Hey Santa, I think one of your hoes got away. Well, as it turned out, the Glory and Friends Christmas special is a Leifeld written comic, and he did pencil the first story, though there's other artists involved here too. In fact, this is not actually his art on the cover. Now, making fun of Leifeld is like beating a dead reindeer. The jokes have all been made already. I'm not treading new ground, but for crying out loud! One page in and my brain is struggling to process this. Girl's got legs for days, months even. Her boobs have 2 separate zip codes. That hand! But it is worth pointing out that this comic is from back in 1995. Not super early in his career, but he was still pretty young. My man got started as a professional comic artist right out of high school. He was like 19. I drew this pile of crap when I was 19. And I even had the audacity to send it into Heavy Metal magazine. Before you ask, no, it did not get published. And Leifeld has more than improved as an artist in this time, and while I don't necessarily care for his style, I respect that he's worked to improve. I respect that he's taken jokes made at his expense in stride, and I've often heard him described as a very fast worker. And to give him full credit, in this story we're looking at, he drew 6 entire feet. That's pretty good for him. I'm not familiar with these characters or the series, so I looked up Glory and Friends and I found the Glory and Friends lingerie special with a woman who does not want to be here. And I also discovered that the Glory series was revived in the early 2010s, and they took a wildly different approach to her visually. Well, a lot of this looks really neat. Like, this cover in particular looks cool as hell. I think her design almost goes too far in the other direction. She went from very long and twiggy to very wide and meaty. I'd like to see a happy medium between the glamorous angle but also physically strong. Like a female Klingon. So if you feel like she looks too skinny on these pages, don't worry. She's gonna hit the gym soon. She's gonna start juicing. She's gonna get jacked. But what is this comic about? Not really a lot. Glory is mostly thinking about Jesus. Here, the Youngblood team is playing Monopoly while trying to decide if they're having fun or not. This guy is taking all the wrong lessons from Monopoly. We've got an appearance from the character Nightmare. I didn't see that he was physically holding the wreath, and I just assumed he decorated his motorcycle for the holidays. Lastly, we've got a story featuring Riptide, and it's actually drawn decently well. Her boobs are in the right place. I don't know how they stay in place with all her gallivanting around. Maybe that's one of her powers. I'm assuming she possesses invulnerability to cold, because she is dressed like this in Antarctica. I'm in California, and I'm in bed with a sweater on drinking cocoa the second it hits 60. And this is the story where things actually happen. I kind of wonder if it wouldn't have been more effective to have a single story in this issue rather than several, but if the goal is to show many characters in a holiday setting and how they're feeling about the season, it might get clunky trying to fit everyone and everything into one story. Riptide has been dispatched to Antarctica to help a missing group of explorers from the clutches of some really pissed off Yetis who did not take kindly to these guys barging into their cave. Riptide pulls them out of what was essentially the pantry and saves them from being dinner. As she fights off the Yetis on their trail, the team gets away and she comes across the women and children of the Yetis. You can tell this one's a woman because her hair looks really nice. Riptide realizes that the team is blasting the side of the mountain in an attempt to save her, but this begins an avalanche that could trap the Yeti families in the mountain. Riptide is able to blast the avalanche apart and turn it into snow. The exploration team has been saved, but the Yetis are also spared, and they express their thanks. Riptide and the team enjoy a bonfire as she remarks, "This is what Christmas is all about." And I'm not sure I know what she means. Saving people from being eaten? Showing mercy to the Yetis? To be fair, I do think this is exactly what Jesus would have done. But does Jesus have ice power? Whatever. I think that just about does it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to check out the links in the description below for my Tiltify link where you can donate to St. Jude's. Remember that for a $5 donation, you can get a copy of the 12 Days of ComiXmas coloring book. Today's illustration is an homage to the classic Rob Liefeld Captain America. And I will see you tomorrow for the next episode.